الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر.
لا إله إلا الله. One more thing, brothers. Let's start to turn off our cell phones, put it in vibration or turn it off, please, during the khutbah. Turn off these telephones. Let's double check our phones, please. Double check your phone and turn it off.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا محمد عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله بالهدى إلى ناس كافة ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما والذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا الخطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل بدعة كل بدعة ضلالة أيها الناس أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واختصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this way of life, for this Islam. Had it not been for Allah's guidance and mercy, you and I will not be in any position to guide ourselves into this. So therefore all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the nourisher, the sustainer, the evolver, the molder, the shaper, the capacitated master of creation. And whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide to this way of life, there is actually none that can misguide. Whosoever Allah in His wisdom left unguided, there is no one that can guide. And I bear witness that there is no deity or any object worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I also bear witness openly, without any shame, that the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last and final messenger sent by Allah to guide mankind after Allah has sent a series of messengers. My dear brothers in Islam, the topic of my khutbah today is Islam and knowledge, or Islam and science. We live in a fast-paced world. The world is being globalized. It's in your finger. This is information technology. Islam is a religion that answers all the questions that mankind needs. It is the final products of any factory manufacturing stuff at the final stage, perfection. Bring it out for consumption. So Islam is that stage. Allah has sent series of messengers. Each and every one of them have a role to play to give the finality to the Quran and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see, people are saying in their write-ups on social networks, the Orientalists are busy trying to dislodge Islam by making information about Islam that is not consistent with what our deen presents. They say the Quran is a book copied from the ancient Arabic myth and folklore. They also said that the Quran was taught to Muhammad by Waraq bin Nawf. They also said the Quran is an Arabian product juxtaposed with Injil and the Torah, which was taught to Muhammad by the Christians who live in Mecca and Medina, and then the Jewish who live in Medina. That is why most of the information about the Yahud or the Torah can be found mostly heavily revealed in Medina. So they say it is the Jewish who informed him, and that Muhammad is not a messenger of Allah. He thinks he is, but he is not. They say the Quran is a book which was, given to Muhammad by maybe an evil spirit. And so many information but you and I know that that is not the case. So Allah, He knows from the very beginning, Allah, He knows that there's going to be some people who will make this profound statement. So Allah said at the very beginning in Mecca, قُلْ لَإِنِّ اجْتَمَعَتُ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. If the whole of mankind and jinn, O Muhammad, will come together as one to write a book like the Quran, they will never be able to do it, even if they support themselves. What kind of statement is this? This is unlike human. We don't speak like this. Why would someone say jinn and mankind will? No, man, we don't speak like that. That means whosoever make this statement have to have an insight or knowledge beyond that of human being. The Arabs, they were listening. What did they do? Nothing. Before the messenger left Mecca, after 13 years, the 11th year, Allah reduced the strength of the challenge. Allah said, Am yaqulu naftara, qul fa'atu bi ashir surin mislihi muftarat. Do they say Muhammad forged the Quran? Okay, tell them to bring 10 surah this time. Forge like the Quran and bring their witness. The Arabs did not bring any witness and they didn't write any 10 surah. So Muhammad is waiting, I am waiting, you are waiting. It's a challenge. 1 year before the messenger left the earth, Allah reduced the challenge to infinitesimal, where Allah said, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Allah said, فَإِن لَّن تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. If you are in doubt as to the message we've given our apostle, then bring 1 surah this time, 1, and bring all your witnesses if you are speaking the truth. Allah said, you cannot do it. You will never be able to do it. If that is the case, let them prepare themselves for the fire whose fuel is men and stone. So at the very beginning, Allah established a strong credential supporting or giving the Quran credit. So at the very beginning, Allah began with knowledge. The very word that came to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Mount of Light was what? Iqra'a. Read, O Muhammad, O Muslims, read, Iqra. So from Iqra up to Malam Ya'lam, Allah mentioned knowledge twice. And he mentioned pen once to emphasize the importance of learning in Islam. Knowledge. So in that statement, Allah is actually, inviting the Muslims to delve deep into research, into books, academics, writing. Not fighting, we shall overcome and fighting. No, we live in the age of intelligence. The brain is the power that Allah has given man. Animals cannot think and process. They act instinctively. You and I, we think, we analyze, we come to conclusion. So the brain, or the knowledge, or the intelligence, or the id that Allah has given mankind is a powerful tool. So the Messenger said, "Khayrukum man ta'allama al-Quran wa 'allama." The best amongst you is he who learned the Quran and teaches it. Not the one with the most money in the bank, not the one that have so many cars, not the one that have so many whatever. No, the best. Khayrukum man ta'allama al-Quran wa 'allama. In other words, he's emphasizing the importance of knowledge. He also said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, knowledge is the lost property of the believer. Go look for it, even if it's with the unbeliever, because you deserve it more than the unbeliever. Knowledge. He also said, knowledge is the lost property. If you lost your phone, I see people going like this. The messenger said, treat knowledge as if something important of you is missing. Go look for it. So knowledge is key. By virtue of knowledge, look at what the world is doing. You have your cell phone, you do so many things. It is knowledge. So knowledge is better with Allah than the blood of a martyr. The messenger said, the knowledge is better with Allah than the blood of a mujahid. The mujahid goes to war, and if he falls fighting for Allah, he goes to Jannah. But yet, the messenger said, in the sight of Allah, knowledge is power. It's everything. You have knowledge, you have everything. So Allah said, وَيَرَى الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ هُوَ الْحَقُّ وَيَهْدِي إِلَى صِرَاطٍ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. Those who have the knowledge of Muhammad, they will come and they will know eventually that you are on the right track and that it is Allah who sent you. Knowledge. There is a man in America who died a few years ago by the name of Professor Carl Sagan. I don't know, some of you have read about him. He's on public broadcasting channel. He's doing science, knowledge. He wrote so many books. In fact, he wrote over 75 different books of science. But 3 books that Carl Sagan wrote supersede the knowledge of the 20th century. The 3 books is called, the first one is called Billions and Billions. The second book is called The Broker's Mind. And the third book is called The Cosmics. He discussed information that are so vital for mankind to propel itself into the next millennia. So in these books, Carl Sagan said, he was telling you and I how the universe came into being. He said, 20 billion years ago, there was no heaven, there was no earth, there was no Jupiter, no Neptune, no Mars. None of this solar system existed 20 billion years ago. He said 3 elements existed: hydrogen, helium, and a huge amount of dust. These 3 elements aggregated. They came and formed a cluster. They became so huge, and they became so huge beyond our thinking. And heat, radiation, blasted that singularity. Boom! It blasted. Science called that the Big Bang. The Big Bang Theory. It happened 20 billion years ago. Only 3 elements. Now, how did they know? Because they send balloon in the atmosphere, satellites, taking pictures of the rarefied materials, bring it down to Earth, analyze it, and they come to conclusion, this is how the universe operates. And guess what? That boom that happens 20 billion years ago, it is still being felt. As we sit here right now, that boom that happened 20 billion years ago, it is still going. The recession. It is still progressing 20 billion years ago. And science postulated. How do we know? He said, if you see any stagnant water, get a stone and throw in the water, you will see that ripple effect. Ripple effect. That is how the universe is spent. Or the balloon that you blow, get the balloon, get a pen and make a dotlet all around the balloon, turn it around, keep making a dotlet. Once you're done, begin to blow the balloon. As you blow the balloon, you will see that the dots are moving away from each other. It's expanding. So that is called the expanding universe. In other words, the universe is perpetually expanding from 20 billion years ago. So every 15 seconds, the universe expands 1 million miles from 20 billion years ago. The universe is perpetually expanding. As we sit here right now, every 15 seconds, the universe increases 1 million miles. Where do they go? How big is the universe? No wonder Allah said, "Antum ashaddu khaliqin am as-samaa banaha rafa'a samkaha fasawwaha." Are you more difficult to create than the heaven He raised without any visible pillar? No pillar. No pillar. This masjid, look at how many pillars to hold this small 4x4 thing. But Allah said, "Halaka samawati bigayri amadin tarawnaha." I create the heaven without any visible pillar, as you can see. Wa alqa fil ardi rawasiya. And rawasiya is what we call in scientific term tectoplatonic or lithoplates. It is, a mechanism that moves and shapes the world. Wa alqa fil ardi rawasiya. Modern science have equated that with it. But what I'm trying to say is that how could this information be given in the Quran over 1,439 years? That's what Carl Sagan said, the universe came into being. Listen to what the Quran said. The Quran said in relation to the physical science, quantum mechanics, if you will, about the universe. Allah said, أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتَ وَالْأَرْضَ كَانَتَا رَتَقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ أَفَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Subhanallah. How could a man in the desert of Medina without any computerization be able to give us information that is consistent with modern science by saying, "Do not the unbelievers see?" Which unbelievers? The scientists. They don't believe. I did this, I did that. They give credit to themselves. They use telescope. Allah said, "All right, with all your telescope, أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا." Do they not see that the heaven and earth were joined together? Then we separate asunder. How could Muhammad know the common origin of this universe? Science had 3 elements. They joined and separated. Fatak, ratak, using the word that is so perfect. At the end, Allah said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. And we made from water every living thing. Which is true. Recently, we know science, life came from water. Life, anything that is alive, came from water. Because protoplasm is the basis of science. Aquatic life came from water. That's why the US is sending rover machine to land on Mars. Why? The primary reason why the US keeps sending rover machine to land on Mars is to see if there is water on Mars. If there is water, it will give them more proof that life existed somewhere. They know, science know that there is life somewhere, but they couldn't put their hand on the button. They know, because all science is leading that there are other creation, other science beyond us. So they call it what? UFO, the unknown foreign object. So Allah gives us a clue. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, not A'lam, Alameen. He's the Lord of all the worlds. تسبح له السماوات السبع والأرض ومن فيهن وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده ولكن لا تفقهون تسبيحه إنه كان حليما غفورا. Allah said, whatsoever in the heaven and earth and in between do glorify Allah. But you, mankind, cannot know how they glorify Allah, because it's a mercy that an afwa Allah have done to you. If you hear how they worship Allah, you go crazy. It's a mercy that Allah have hidden some of the information that is going on in the universe. So Carl Sagan, when he was shown this Quranic verse, he humbled himself down. He was shocked. He said, "Who told Muhammad?" I said, "Well, you tell me. Who showed him? How come you are late? You are bragging yourself." Carl Sagan was given $5 million for coming up with this hypothesis. He traveled all over the world. Oh, he's the one that brought the origin of the universe. But the Quran shamed him. The Quran. So Allah said, men of knowledge will prove it. We don't need someone to prove that the Quran is true. But the Quran, Allah said, men will come. إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين ولتعلمن نبأه بعد حين. This Quran is for the whole of mankind. But as time goes on, mankind will come to understand the Quranic implication. They will know. Through what? Through knowledge. Through their scientific thinking. And so really, we in this world, especially those of us that live in America today, we have to understand that it is our duty to present Islam in a very beautiful mode. Not fighting. I don't believe if the messenger lives with us today, he's going to carry his sword and go fighting. No, we fight intellectually. We fight academically. That is why the Quran is bubbling with information about reading, about writing, about information technology, everything. Allah said, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَصَّلْنَاهُ تَفْصِيلًا. To each and everything you can think of, Allah said it has been explained tafsila in the Quran. So now how do you find that? Then Allah said, أَفَلَا تَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Don't you look at the Quran with care? Had it been someone else wrote the Quran, there would have been so much inconsistency in the Quran. But as it is, I'm yet to see a single inconsistency in the Quran. It is not there. So those who are writing their books, the Orientalists, saying Muhammad is this, Muhammad is that, they have no knowledge about this Islam. So Allah said, وَلَتَعْلَمُنَّ نَبَأَهُ بَعْدَ حِينٍ. As time goes on, they will come and they will understand. But knowledge is the key, is the ultimate. يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Those amongst you with Iman, Allah has a place for you. Of course, your Iman will lead to heaven. But Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Those with the knowledge, Allah will give them a degree above everything. By virtue of knowledge. Look at what the world is saying, where we are today. The Quran indeed is a book that have touched base each and every angle of knowledge that we're talking about. The Quran have dealt with it. Recently, there is a scientist who also made an analysis, and he came to the conclusion that besides the expanding universe is perpetually going. The expanding universe is perpetually going. Turn your phones off. I'm sorry to say that. I get confused. I'm lost right now. I'm in the masjid. Turn the phone off. Inshallah. I'm kind of lost. And so, that's what the Quran said. We live in the age of technology, age of information. So our children are the next generation. Now, when you're done with your salat, you raise your hand. And what do you say? Allahumma rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Oh Allah, have mercy on my parents the way they had mercy on me. Now, do you have any guarantee that your children will also, after you've gone, will raise their hand and seek Allah's mercy and blessings to you? That means we have to leave a legacy, a strong legacy to our children. It is our duty to educate them, to fit in a status quo in America here. America is the land of Allah. It is for us. It is for everybody. Allah said, Inna ardi wasi'an. The earth, my earth, is big, is huge. Just travel on earth. Siru fil ard. It is our duty, but once you have a duty to be in this country, you have to follow the laws. This is a country of the law. America is a great nation. And I'm always praying to America. I always pray to America. Allah, He knows that. Look at how many Muslims are in America. How many masjid all over America. Of course we have, even in my country and your country, we have the good and the horrible, the terrible also we have. What do you think of America? A multicultural nation with different ideologies. It's a melting pot. Of course, you expect to see things that happen and you get angry. You have the right to get angry. But how do you, vent on this anger? How do you turn the table with knowledge? Go on radio, go on television, write books, give speeches, turn the table. That's what you do. Allah asked you to do this thing. وَقُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. Allah said, tell them, أهل الكتاب, تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم. People of the book come, let us have a common dialogue between us and you. Allah, He gave the three principles. Allah na'budu illa Allah, wa la nushriku bihi shay'an, wa la yattakhidha ba'duna ba'dan arbaba min dunillah. Three principles. In tawallaw, qul ashhadu bi anna Muslim. It is your duty to present Islam in a beautiful, soft way. You have to. Otherwise, we are sitting on their chests. You sit on somebody's chest, you get tired of it. But unless you get off the chest and begin to make Islam accessible to each and everybody, otherwise we have a big problem. أستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم واستغفر لكم إنه لكم ولا حول. إن الحمد لله وصلى الله على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكة المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Islam, see, I live in Seattle, Washington. That's where my base is at, and I travel around. So in Seattle, Washington, it's always raining all year round. Nothing like, okay, we're in the season of rain. No, Seattle is like, if they don't rain at all, it's like 3 times in a week, there's got to be some form of rain. Seattle rains a lot. And I think it's the only state in America that gives like from 7 to 10 days or up to 2 weeks, you know, that it's going to rain today, it's going to be shining today. They give us a long 2 weeks sometimes, so you could plan your day because of it's always raining. So the meteorologists have developed that system to inform the masses in Seattle, Washington. They give us, you know, a long 2 weeks how the weather is going to be. It's going to start this and that. They're beautiful. But the point is, how do they know all these things? The weather forecasting. How do they know? So meteorologists are saying that before rain falls, it passed through 3 principles only. The basic principle is 3. Anytime rain falls, just look at the heaven. What do you see? You see small clouds, pieces, independently moving together. They move, independent clouds. You see them move before it rains. Science calls that the cumulus cloud. Cumulus clouds. Once it converges, it becomes one, it changes its dynamics. It becomes cumulonimbus. Then it acquired the third move. It acquired an updraft, a movement. Looks like a huge rock in the heaven. The cloud looked like a rock, and it began to move. Updraft, where Allah will rainfall. So the first movement, independent clouds, cumulus, cumulonimbus, updraft, and rain begin to fall. 3 principles. That is exactly what has happened today. So through that, they have rain gauge material that they could study the clouds. The cloud that's in the heaven, generally you think is one cloud. No, we have the cloud that caused rain, the cloud that caused tsunami, the cloud that caused, wind, and just different clouds. Science, they know by reading the graph, and they can tell clearly it's going to rain, it's going to do this and that, and they give us information as to how it's going to rain. And we know since the invention of the rain of the barometer, which is used to measure the rain gauge, science have come to understand that the rainfall that falls every second, we have 16 million tons of water fall from the heaven to earth. The same amount mounts up through, drying, evaporation. Every second, 16 million tons of water fall from the heaven to the earth. The same amount. So in other words, in a year, we have 513 trillion tons of water fall from heaven to earth. The same amount also mounts up through evaporation because the equilibrium have to be balanced. It is no more, it is no less. It is a mystery to scientists that the same amount fall, the same amount goes to heaven. So Allah, He make information about how the clouds form and the rainfall again. Mind you, this is in the desert. Over 1,438 years ago or 39 years ago, in Arabian desert without any computerization, the Muslim Muhammad was made by Allah to make this statement. Alam tara anna Allah yusji sahaban? Alam tara anna Allah yusji sahaban? ثم يؤلف بينه ثم يجعله ركاما فترى الودك يخرج من هلاله. Do they not see, who? The scientists. Do they not see how we move the clouds gently? Then we join them together. When it acquired that massiveness, rain began to fall out of it. How could Muhammad sit down in Medina? And he said, you know what, I'm going to write in my books too. Is it possible? Absolutely impossible. It is an information that is given by Allah to him to prove that the Quran is indeed not from someone who's Majnoon. So as they call him. He thinks he's a prophet. He's not a prophet. He's Majnoon. He's like evil spirit. What I taught him. Yesterday I was reading a book. In that book, they expand about 8 pages, saying that Waraq bin Nawfal, he's the one that taught Muhammad all the information about the Quran, the Bible, about the Quran. Most of it, they went to say 75%. So if 75% was taught to Muhammad by Waraq bin Nawfal, the case is this. When Waraq was in Mecca, well, he met the Prophet after the first revelation. Then Waraq died 3 years after the first revelation. And Muhammad continued to live in Mecca for 10 more years. So who was revealing the information to him? Waraka was dead 3 years after Muhammad met him. So this is an information that they are thinking. This is what they say, to twat or to dislodge the truth. So this rain that we're talking about is falling in this capacity. So how could Muhammad make this statement that modern science, through information or through knowledge, have come to it? The fact that the equilibrium of the water is balanced, no more, no less, it's always the same. It rained here, it rained over there, it didn't rain here, but if you measure all together, 513 trillion tons of water falls down every year from the heaven to the earth. It is no more, it is no less. It is being like constant. So Allah also said, Allahu allazi nazzala minas sama'i ma'a biqadarin. That's the key word I'm looking for. He is Allah who sent down the water from the heaven in a measured form. Measured form. Biqadarin. No more, no less. Nazzala minas sama'i ma'a biqadarin. He sent down the water from the heaven in a measured form. The question is, who informed Muhammad that the water that falls from the heaven to earth is measured? So Allah said, Allazina atinahumul kitab ya'arifunahu kama ya'arifuna abna'ahum. Those whom the book was given, O Muhammad, before you, they know you very well. And they know Islam like they know their own children. They do. But the pain that the last messenger should come from the Arabs, these camel riders, these goat herders, these barefooted walking in the desert, the great prophet will come to them. How? They didn't understand that. They can't understand that. That's why the problem started. Otherwise, Allah said they know the truth more than they know their own children. Joseph Bloom, a specialist on the atmospheric pressure. He lives in Illinois, in the United States. He made a statement. In his statement, he said, Earth is the only planet that have all the attributes that makes it possible for human beings, plants to strive, and animals. He said, only the planet, only Earth have this attribute that you and me and plants and animals could strive. Other planets, they don't. Most plants do not have, atmosphere. You need the atmosphere and the gravitational forces for the Earth to be made or to create a world. So Earth is perfect for all this kind of thing. Allah made the Earth to have all the qualities that we need to strive. And He didn't leave us alone. He gave information as to why did He make such a statement. He said because the heaven above the Earth atmosphere is actually divided in 7 different layers. It's a bloom. The Earth above the atmosphere is divided in 7 different layers. And He gives each and every layer. The first one is troposphere, stratosphere, ozonosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. These are the 7 planets above the Earth atmosphere. But He made a statement also. He said each and every atmosphere have a duty to perform.